Question 2, we are getting into algebraic expressions. So we need to add these two brackets together. Okay, so they're really just going to test us a bit with the signs. That's why they're asking us to add the brackets together like this. Let's get them written out so we can see. So 7a squared plus 4a squared, 4a minus 2. And then we are adding this bracket, minus 3a squared plus 6a minus 10. All they are really testing here is if we know what to do with this sign. And what we can actually do is we can just get rid of this bracket here. So I'll erase these now, but let's just do it like this for now so we can see. Let's get rid of the brackets. And we got a plus and a minus. So this part here, plus and a minus, is going to become minus. Plus and minus always becomes minus. So what we actually have then is like this, 7a squared plus 4a minus 2 minus 3a squared plus 6a minus 10. And then with algebraic expressions, we simplify as far as we can. So we are going to add the like terms. So for example, a squared, we can add 7a squared and the minus 3a squared. Be really careful. Make sure you include the sign in front. So we're going to go 7a squared minus 3a squared is 4a squared. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Then we can work with the a's. So 4a add 6a is 10a. And then finally we can do the numbers. We've got minus 2 minus another 10 is minus 12. And that is as far as we can go for that one. We can't do any further simplifying because these are all different terms. So we can't add the a squared and the a, for example. Okay, question 2.2. Subtract these brackets. So subtract this from this. This one is a little bit tricky. So they want you to know that if we go subtract this from this is our first term. So we're going to have 5x squared plus 3x minus 6. Subtract that from that. So we are going to subtract the first bracket. So 4x squared minus 2a plus 3. Okay, the difference now comes in if we are subtracting like this. If we've got this minus here, it changes all the signs in the second bracket. So if we rewrite this, we're going to have 5x squared plus 3x. Nothing changes here. Minus 6. But this is where it comes in. If you have a minus in front of the bracket, it changes every single sign in here. So it's going to be minus 4x squared. So you can see that was a positive 4x. Now it's minus. Then a minus and a minus 2a. That makes it a positive 2a. And a minus and a positive 3. That's going to be minus 3. That is where they're testing you on this one. If you know how to change the signs like that. So if there's a minus in front of the bracket, then you change everything inside. Okay, and then if we work this out exactly like we did before, we are just going to simplify the like terms. So let's see, all of our x squared. We've got 5x squared minus 4x squared. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So we're just going to have x squared. You can put the 1, you don't have to put the 1. Then we've got our x's, so plus 3x plus 2x. Oh, no, sorry. We've got a's here. That is really strange that we've got an a in there. Anyway, so we actually can't do anything there. So 3x and 2a, we can't do much with that. Which means we're going to have plus 3x plus 2a. And then we can do our numbers. So we're going to have minus 6 minus 3, which is minus 9. And that is as far as we can go with this one, because these are all different terms, so we can't add any of the x's or any of the a's. 2.3. So in this expression, okay, how many terms are in the expression? So we have this x4 term, we have an x squared term, we have an x term, and we have a number term. So that is 4 terms. What is the constant term? So constant just means number with no variable. So no x's, no y's, no a's. And so our constant term here is obviously this minus 8. Make sure you include the sign in front. 2.3.3, what is the degree of the expression? So the degree of the expression, all this means is what is the exponent? What is the biggest exponent? Okay, it's just a fancy way of asking that. If we look here, the biggest exponent we've got is this x to the power of 4. So the degree of this expression we say is it's the 4th degree. So if the biggest exponent was a 2, you would say it's the 2nd degree. If it was a 3, you'd say it's the 3rd degree. What is the coefficient of x squared? So coefficient, it just means what number is in front of x squared. And if we look here, a number in front of x squared is 3. So the coefficient of x squared is 3. And what is the value of the expression if x is equal to minus 1? So now they're asking you to do some substitution. Okay, so let's get our expression written here. It is, if we can see it, 5x to the power of 4 plus 3x squared minus 12x minus 8. And we need to know the value of the expression when x is minus 1. So wherever there's x, we are going to put minus 1. So 5 minus 1 to the power of 4 plus 3 minus 1 squared minus 12 minus 1 minus 8. So minus 1 to the power of 4, that means we have basically minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1. It's just going to be 1. So what we essentially have is 5 times 1. 3 minus 1 squared is just 1. Minus 12 times minus 1 minus 8. So 5 times 1 is just 5. 3 times 1 is just 3. Minus 12 times minus 1 makes positive 12. Minus 8, and then we can just work this out. So 5 add 3 is 8. 8 add 12 is 20. 20 take away 8 is 12. So that is the value of this expression, is 12.